Hello and welcome to the STCfit Learning Podcast. I'll be your host today. My name's Ben Scott. I'll be joined by Jason Galea. Thanks for joining us on our way to create 1 million positive outcomes for personal training clients by 2030. The podcast is brought to you by @STCfit Learning, a page created to upskill and educate PTs and gym nerds. Also brought to you by @STCfit, and that's a place for all your online and in-person personal training needs. If you enjoyed today's episodes, please give us a share and tag on the Instawebs. You can tag @STCfit, @STCfit Learning, @BenScottSC, and @JasonGalea PC. Hope you enjoy the show. We are live.
What's up?
We are back, as it's been a long time again.
Back again, I know. I feel like we say that every time.
Yeah. Someone went on holidays. Someone being me. How's things, Jason?
Yeah, good. We've had we'll call it a long, even though it's like we work at home a lot, a long weekend. So, but it's nice to see that we're going to be able to move out of this snack lockdown. That's what they're calling these. That's the buzzword. And
Victoria
then back into society. So yeah, I must admit I was wigging out a little bit like today. I'm like, I need to get out. Need to be able to kind of organise some things to look forward to, Ben. Especially now that I've gotten into golf.
Yeah.
We had a game of golf organised for last weekend, and that didn't happen. So I think it's going.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, 9 a.m. tee off. There'll be balls going all over the fairway. So if you're down at Werribee Golf Course, like maybe bring a hard hat or something. I apologise in advance.
Could go either way.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah.
We had an inspection. We've already put a deposit down on the car that we haven't seen or driven yet, because there's like very, very limited stock in Australia, and they'll disappear. I think if we order one it'll be like September that it will come, because the production slowed down so much.
Yeah.
So it's like there's one in Victoria, so we're like, deposit on it. We'll come and drive it. So it's all subject to like the test drive and shit. But it's like we had it planned for Saturday. Yeah. So then Friday they're like, you can't do that. So hopefully we'll do that on Friday, which would be nice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we're going to look at a house that backs onto a golf course.
Oh, perfect, mate.
Yeah, so I was like, look, I can see past a lot of imperfections in this house because it backs onto a golf course.
Because I've played golf for 3 weeks and now I want a house close to the golf course.
Yeah, that's it. It's like already looked at like how much it cost to have like my own golf buggy, so I could just drive out the gate.
Out the door, yeah. Does that replace the jet ski golf?
No, there's plenty of space for a jet ski at this house as well.
Sweet.
So I'm just adding. The vision board's been add an addition. Yeah,
I don't think my go-kart will be welcomed onto the golf course very strongly.
No, definitely not. There's room for 2 jet skis, so change your mind.
Yeah, well, if you get 2 jet skis, I'll get 2 go-karts and we'll be fine.
Yeah, okay, all right, yeah.
Sorted.
Well, hopefully this podcast starts kicking off then, so we can actually...
Yeah, well, if anyone wants to sponsor us so we can afford all these toys.
Share the podcast.
Yeah.
Say it's awesome.
Maybe stop buying gym gear. I hope
too. Yeah, true.
All right, so what about training and stuff? How's... You back in the growth phase now?
Yeah, I've been pretty... I feel like the Christmas summer period, I always kind of like just back off a little bit. I've never really trained... Outside of when I got married, I've never trained hard through that period. It's just like good time, socialize, take off the gas, back into normal swing of things now. Growth phase starts this week. Just same game, trying to get massive. We'll try to get as high towards 100 and over 100 as I can, without getting too fat. And then like cut down. I'm kind of aiming to be mid to high 90s by the end of the year, with some decent levels of body fat, which I still think I'm probably going to have to do another growth phase after that if I'm going to compete, because I don't want to compete like mid-weight range. Like I just don't really see the value in that. It's like you're not the heaviest, you can't kind of cut to the lightest. Not the heaviest in your weight class, can't cut to the heaviest in the one below. You kind of sit in the middle. So that's
my life right now.
Yeah. Well, you're prepping now, aren't you?
Yeah, so walk around. Same thing, just maintenance and health phase. I actually feel fucking awesome, which is really strange. Nothing hurts. My cardiovascular is probably fitness is as good as it's ever been. Although I just nearly spewed in that session just from the heat. But yeah, I actually feel really good. Which is like when the first time I hit 94 kilos, I was like, could barely like. I remember trying to vacuum the house, and I was just like, I'm fucked. Like I need to lay down. This is disgusting. So it's nice, same body weight. Yeah. So I reckon by comps in June, I reckon we'll push probably 98 without, again, not being too fat, which would be nice. And changing feds, giving APL a crack, which would be fun. Nice. Squatting in sleeves this time around more than likely. And then I'll weigh up whether we put the wraps back on for nationals or not. Because they do Wilks for these meets instead of weight classes. So, yeah, like it doesn't matter. Run what you wear sort of thing on the day, and then whoever has the best Wilks wins. So we might look at the sleeves for nationals.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, hypertrophy phase for 4 weeks, I think, and then start to bring in the specificity after that.
Yeah, nice.
If this podcast has done one thing, it's teach me to say specificity. So I write it down a lot, but I don't have to say it. But the podcast has allowed me to figure out how to actually pronounce it.
Yeah. That's the old Worcestershire sauce all over again.
Yeah. I just stay away from that one. That's done.
I heard on the radio like just like a segment where like people have words and they legitimately can't say it. It's like their brain and their tongue fail on them. Like they go to say like this one lady was trying to say February and she's going February, and they're like February, and it's just like February. Like she
just couldn't do it. Yeah,
it's like as soon as it gets to that moment in time, that the brain's just like eject, do whatever, just flap your tongue.
I'm out. Yeah, there's an old one. That's like to win a competition, you win like flights overseas and tickets and shit, and all you have to do is spell ACDC.
Yeah,
and the guy gets it wrong 10 times. And he's like, no, spell ACDC, and he's like ADCC. It's like no, like spell. What? Yeah, he gets it wrong over and over again. His brain just like malfunctions on him because he's so excited.
Wow. Yeah, that does happen. You know, like people get worked up and they just freeze.
Yeah. I think he got given the tickets in the end, but yeah.
Isn't that just like a fucking lob? It's just like
that's like you can't lose, bro.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna throw you this lob. All you gotta do is smack this out of the park. Like
yeah. Just stand up and you can win. It's like I can't. I don't know how my legs work. All right, so we'll timestamp there and start the actual episode for all those people who don't like our banter. Fuck you guys.
Sorry, guys. I'm not actually sorry.
All right, so we decided we'd do a Q&A episode just for a change. Obviously, the last few have been fairly in-depth, really specific around our 5 pillars and stuff. So a little bit more on the feedback from you guys with the Q&A. So this one, the first one, is actually a really good question. So one immediately actionable thing that every PT needs to do, but currently isn't doing.
Where do we start?
One, Jason.
Actionable thing. One actionable thing that every personal trainer needs to do that isn't is goal setting. And I know that that's going to be, snooze fest for a lot of people, but hear me out. So a lot of trainers that we work with in the Coaches Academy and Standout PT, they are so stuck in their business and have no idea how to work on their business and have no idea how to move their business in the right direction. They have no idea how to gravitate themselves towards just something bigger, better, with more refined, efficient, better income for time, all of those kind of things, more opportunity, we'll call it. So those things don't happen with luck. I know a lot of people will, just benchmark themselves just off that like 1%, 0.5% of the industry that just becomes an overnight success, but they don't really look at what that person did on a day-to-day basis, what their goals were and all that kind of stuff that most people just want to see that. Take them out of it anyway, with the accelerated growth and stuff. The other 99% of the industry who are getting, just steady, continual growth are people who, know what they're doing in 3 months, know what they're working towards in 6, 12, 3 years, 5 years, know what they want, know what they want in their personal life, all of those kind of things, and just don't use excuses like, I don't know what I'm doing in a year's time. It's like, sure, like no one does. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow really, but I've got a schedule, and it's like, if I have this schedule, it's highly likely that my day is going to act like that. So that's the same concept. If you have goals in 12 months time, it's like, all right, I want to, build a hybrid business and not be, slaving away in the gym. Cool. So what you do tomorrow is going to affect what you do in 12 months time. So most coaches are just hung up on like the immediate return. It's like, I need to be in my business, doing sessions, working with clients, trading time for money. And then we just get stuck there. And then they're just like, well, how the fuck did we get here? And it's like 5 years later, they're exhausted, haven't really made the progression that they want. And it all comes down to them just not knowing how or what to work towards.
Such a powerful thing to, like, a filter to look at and make decisions through as well. Like, and we do it all the time. Well, what is your 3-year goal? And does making this decision work towards it? Like, does more sessions get you there? Does doing something else, does spending an hour a day on your business do it? Like, when you're sitting down and making decisions, you need to actually understand where you're trying to head. It's like, the 5-year one, I can kind of like let that one slide.
Yeah, same.
In terms of like when someone's like, oh, fuck, I don't know. Like, I'm like, okay, I get it. Most people don't think that far ahead. You should. And that's like a big part of like, of what we're talking about. But the 12-month one, when you're like, okay, so where are you going to be 12 months from now? And they're like, I don't know, probably doing the same thing. It's like, fuck, like that's, for me, that's the biggest warning sign for me, is not knowing your 12 and 3-year plan. Because like your decisions day to day should be made based off of that.
Yeah, it's funny how a lot of people can outline the year's training at the start of a year and be like, all right, I'm going to hit this number at this time of the year, or I'm going to be this much body weight with this much body fat. But then when it comes to talking about business and talking about life and stuff, people just don't know how to do that. And I don't know. I personally don't think that they don't know how to do it, because they do know how to goal set, because they've done it with their own training. It's like the fear of setting things that have really big implications on your life and future that people just put a massive brick wall over, and they'll just like, they'll tell themselves whatever they need to tell them just to not have that awkward commitment to something that's just so big, and everyone does it. Like there's times when we fall into that mindset a little bit too. But I think when you've got clear cut goals, and you revisit them, because that's the other thing as well, is it's not a life commitment that's set in stone. It's like, this is a blueprint of like how things are going to work for now. When you revisit them, you operate with way more vision and clarity when you know that you have something purposeful to work towards. So it's not really an accident that people get stuck inside their business because that's the only thing that's reminding them to do something. There's nothing else externally to that reminding them, hey, outside of your business, you need to do this, 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 and this. That's going to move you to here. So, and when we talk, we always talk about every PT as in assuming they're a business owner, because if you're working for there's very few positions where you're working for somebody and, it's a typical employment role. And I still think the greatest opportunities out there are people who have flexibility to, work with who they want to work with, train people with a system that, kind of suits themselves and their clients. Just for those people out there that are kind of employed and listen to this, like, you still need goals, like goals in life and goals in your career, because it's highly likely that, you're going to work with a particular type of person, do a specific type of thing, and evolve your career in a specific type of way.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting, like, just to finish off on that too, how little people correlate. I guess the people that come to us are obviously interested in building their business. So they've thought about, I guess, a little bit about where they want to go. Yeah. But they often haven't even thought about their personal life and where they want their personal life to go. It's like, if you run your own business, like, a lot of your business will dictate your personal life and vice versa. So if you want to, like, buy a house, how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to show the bank that you've got enough money to pay for it based on, like, how you set up your back end and your finances and all that sort of shit? People don't think about that. And then, like, Even things like, oh, you want to have a family. It's like, okay, so you're going to work your 5:30 till 9 a.m. shift, and then your 10 till 12 shift, and then your 4 till 8:30 shift with a family. Like, how's that going to work? Like, people don't sort of think about, well, what are these milestones? Maybe you want to go overseas for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. Okay, so how do you get paid when that happens? Are you going to save enough for the holiday and a month's income to cover you while you're gone? Like, how does that work? Which would spin me off, I guess, to what my immediately actionable thing would be that most PTs don't have. I remember when we first started, like, no, only half PTs had direct debit. Like, now everyone's sort of like, yeah, direct debit's like the only fucking way to do this thing. Everyone kind of accepts that. I think the next step now that most people still don't have is a really, really solid client agreement.
Yeah.
So in there that it will state things like 48 hours notice to cancel. You still pay for your sessions, whether you attend or not, and we'll catch them up. All the little nitty gritty things that come up with payment issues, your minimum term, all of those things should be in that document that then allow you to, again, the personal life thing. You want to have a work-life balance and know you've got a check coming in every week from your direct debit company. You need to have that shit in place. You can't just let clients decide when they feel like coming to work with you.
Yeah, something really powerful about just doing your best to create like a equilibrium within your business. Like, getting paid weekly rather than daily. Being able to kind of set everything around that. Obviously, being able to fulfill your other financial obligations outside of work, knowing kind of where the holes are and like what your financial goals are, what to move towards, is and then just the repeat business effect that comes from like having a direct debit company that you use, and just all of the potential conflict resolution that can come out of just a good client agreement to start off with. Like, you can put out a lot of spot fires or potential spot fires already just by outlining like, this is how the membership works for you.
Yeah, and it's automatically removes that, like, that either side is like being a dick. It's like, well, this is the agreement. We both signed the agreement and this is how things work. That's your default. You have circumstances that come up outside of that, cool, you deal with that. But it just takes so much stress out of life and allows you, I think, honestly, like, if someone was like, how do you define, like, we talk about your ability to remove yourself from your business, but how would you define if someone has a PT business or not? It's like, do they have that? They have a solid client agreement that allows them to earn a consistent income over the year, whether they show up or not. To me, that's like, you have a business, not just a job.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So next one we had was time management tips and learning to self-manage time. So this is obviously number one pitfall for people that go out on their own and all of a sudden become business owners overnight. They weren't told about when they did their Cert 4. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go get a job and be a personal trainer. And then all of a sudden it's like, surprise, you're a business owner. You have no boss and no accountability and no one looking over your shoulder. And you can nap all afternoon if you fucking feel like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or work your own hours, as people always tell me.
Yeah.
You can work your own hours. So lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. I work all of my own hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite, work all of the hours too.
Yeah. My favorite line is never at work, but always working.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
So it's like, yeah, your brain is always, even if you've got that like do not disturb button on, your brain's, it's almost always sort
thinking
of
about something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's timely because I don't know if you've done yours yet, but I did mine, revisited this after some conversations last week. Interestingly enough, the number one cause for overwhelm is not having this shit managed. So behind the scenes information, I basically came to the boys and went, I'm fucking stressed out, help. And actually just went away and we call it a productivity tracker. So
I actually renamed mine to life tracker.
Yeah, I like that.
I added some stuff into it.
Like, well now it's got like your actual shit that you need to do like at home and that as well. So literally what we do is just take all the tasks that you need to complete regularly. So like my Mondays, Tuesdays and stuff all look the same. Then we have a column for extra shit. We usually put a time allocation in there as well. And then you're able to go back and click yes, no, did I complete that task or not? Like what Jason and I were just saying, we've added like training, cardio, like whatever else you want to kind of put in there.
Anything. The chores around the house, like absolutely everything.
Yeah, I think I had this discussion yesterday about like decision fatigue. As a business owner and running a business, you have to make tons and tons of decisions over and over again all day. And that's where that fatigue comes from, that burnout feeling comes from. And it's funny how like many people get burnt out that aren't actually high achieving. And I think this is why you just have so much overwhelm and stress present all the time, more so because you're not getting shit done than how much you're actually doing. So you get cooked at the end of it. Something like that I think is the best thing to implement in terms of time management.
Yeah, definitely. I think the other consideration would be to look at like where you waste your time as well. Like I think that a lot of people aren't aware of just how much time they waste, like and just how poorly they spend the time. Like it's good to look at, all of the things that you need to do and put them into the productivity tracker, but that's not looking at the actuals of like how the week before that went. Like we're only going to write down like what the perfect week would be if we were productive. But if we're not being productive, it's because, we're sitting on the couch for 2 hours a day, cuddling our dogs, or, we're just chilling out on the weekends, doing nothing, or like, we're knocking off work early, or, spending too much time just at the coffee shop or sitting behind the PT, the counter at the gym, those kind of things. So it's really good to kind of see where you're wasting your time as well. And just like, it's like, where could I change? Where could I turn some of that dead time into useful time? So it's like, you've got breaks on your laptop, bring a book, do some things that you can do there to be productive, get better at scheduling, trying to cram your clients together, planning ahead of time with the productivity tracker, like Ben and I just mentioned, is really good too. Because again, you kind of operate and act and talk with purpose around your schedule. Like, I don't know, I can't do that time. I can't do this. I'm unavailable. I've got this on. Those kind of things really help as well. So it's on you guys to make a schedule and stick to it. I think sometimes when time management runs out too, it's just like people don't want to say no. So you just got to say, you'd be really, really surprised how flexible people are. Just think about how many times like you go somewhere and you're just like, hey, I want to see so-and-so. And they just say, yep, cool, I've got a time at this, and this. You don't sit there and say, I need to see this person at this time, and it's not happening. I'm not coming with it. If you do that, like maybe change your attitude a bit. But yeah, like it's very rare, especially in personal training. So people are very flexible. You just got to like stick to your guns, know what your perfect week is, and work towards that too. So it's like your current schedule might not be it. You might have a perfect week, and it might take a little bit to transition towards that. But it's like you should again know what you need to work towards, and that perfect week should really reflect like what the goals are. I'm sorry to repeat myself, but it's like, that's how you operate your week will give you the scope to do specific things. So like me being in the gym for 5 days a week doesn't help me run this business and be on this podcast and create all the content that you guys see on Instagram and all of that. So we at some point had to take the plunge and create that perfect week to go, right, well, this is how we get all of those things done.
Yeah, what I find, we, I guess, introduced this for two reasons. When we first came up with the concept, it was like a couple of us were really overshooting our expectations for the week, like the roles and responsibilities that we had and the time commitments that we'd put in those. And like Jay said, not saying no to projects, not just like time bookings and stuff. So putting that down and actually going, you know what, I've actually overcommitted to my availability right now, and restructuring that. But on the flip side of that, there's plenty of people that came in and were like, I didn't have time to do X, Y, Z. I didn't have time to do my calls or walk the floor or post on Instagram or do my stories or whatever it was, like those low hanging fruits, things that we know build your business the most effectively. You put in their productivity tracker and it's like you worked 11 hours last week.
Yeah.
It's like your productivity time was literally 11 hours. So I think it can be a rude shock for people, but I think it's super valuable to put that down and go, fuck, like my productivity actually needs a lot of love.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people that feel busy that don't get a lot done.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between, feeling busy and being productive, and these skills and these really, really easy strategies are the best way to deal with that.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think one of them was organization. I think that sort of helps with that as well. Excuse me. So this one, I've been actually thinking about this since we got the question because it's super probing. And I don't know if I have a clear answer yet. So I'm going to go to you first. What would you tell yourself? What advice would you give yourself to 2000, if you go back to 2019 and tell yourself something?
Whatever comfort I was living within, to tell myself not to move out of it in a direction that I needed to. Basically, I should have just moved out of it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have stayed there. Because I just sat in a comfort zone for longer than I should have, and I could have gotten to a position faster.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could tell myself that it was fucking 2010 when I first started. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be, it's just like, yeah, even though things are good, they're not, I don't want to be like this forever, even though they're good. Because I sat there, I was like, I'm fucking killing it. Like, all the PT sessions, making all the money, like, love my job.
Yeah.
But it was like, just tired, fatigued, exhausted. So there was that, you need to move online, you need to do this, we need to take time off, we need to expand this business, you need to have all these obligations and meet them, and we have to do all this stuff. And then I was just like, nah, it's so good, I'm busy. It's just me not wanting to move over because things are either good or they're just comfortable. But I know I needed to, and I should have done it way sooner, because now here we are. Life's good. I still have the same opportunities that I did before, and more now. So yeah, I was just I just didn't want to change.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine is of a similar tone, but around a different specific thing. I think as a business, we made decisions based out of fear rather than based on opportunity. And again, like where we wanted to be long term. And I think I would have done things, if we look at the team and how things work right now compared to how things worked then, I think we would have probably closed down some old models that we now don't use earlier and made that call a lot sooner, which again would have, like you were saying, kind of freed up some bandwidth and put the best people in the right positions and just fucking went for it a lot sooner than we did.
Yeah. The thing with business, guys, is there's no manual. Like, you don't go, like someone said to me one day, like, oh, did you learn how to run your business? So they said, oh, you would have learned this at like business school. And I was like, the fuck is that? And they're like, oh, they teach you how to run a business. I'm like, no. No one besides us teaches you how to run a business. Like, I joke when I say that, but like, there's no like, you go here and get your business certifications.
As funnily enough, I've been getting, someone has found me and targeted me around like an online MBA.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, is it time to go get a business degree now when I'm 10 years in?
It's just a lot. It's an ongoing learning experience. And I think if we committed to the way we wanted the business to run sooner, things would have changed faster. But we took the plunge at some point.
Yeah.
So it's, I think like for all you guys who are getting frustrated with kind of how things are, it's just like, just trying to revive that isn't going to work. Like, you have to change. And sometimes you take a couple of steps back to go to leap, 10 steps at some point in the future. It's definitely worth doing that, because we had to remodel because things just weren't moving in the direction that we wanted them to. Took a couple of steps back, but now just really good landscape ahead of us. Lots of opportunity, not kind of bound to a real restrictive kind of model. It's very fluid now, which is fantastic for us.
It's interesting. Neither of us sort of went like, I would warn myself about COVID. Because Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like COVID was a bit of a revelation for us in terms of confidence of like what we could do. The team we had, the skill set we had, it taught us heaps, but obviously just like put a whole lot more confidence in what we were doing.
Yeah, I think if you remove the personal kind of implications that last year had on everyone, and you look at it from a business perspective, we were just waiting for an opportunity, and that was an opportunity. So if you look at it like that as a business owner, you can definitely, take advantage in a landscape like that. You just have to be able to look at it like that, like a business owner. Don't look at it as a person who works in the company, or someone who's given their life to this business and this thing's come along and totally destroyed it. It's like, this business needs a heartbeat. This is what's presented itself. How do we keep the life support on? That's essentially what business owners do. It's like, if you look at every other business, they pivoted, they were this, places were turning into delivery services for this, and people were, selling things that they didn't even think of at the time. And it just showed so much innovation.
Clothing brands selling dumbbells.
Yeah, that's it. And you either get with the time or you just get left behind. And it's no different in, we talked about in the past with fitness and, keeping yourself educated, but, and we have to do that continuously. There's going to be another financial shitstorm because they happen every decade. We will have to adapt.
I think like what it did was accelerate all the problems that were always going to happen for anyone. Like you look at yes, I totally get it. The clean out of the fitness industry was savage. A lot of gyms, a lot of great people, a lot of PTs got cleaned out. But it's hard to say, and it's probably in some cases rough to say, but it's probably just a sign it was going to happen eventually. It just accelerated the fuck out of it. So instead of it being a slow over 5 years falling apart, or 1 year or 2 years in like most PT scenarios, it's just like bang, everyone's fucked.
Yeah.
If you hadn't kind of put everything in place, it's like good luck.
Yeah. And if it's taught anyone on this podcast a lesson, it's, we've been banging on about this for 5 years now, saying that people need to get serious about running their personal training business. And if that is the lesson that you guys need to take out of last year. It's like, if you didn't, you would know if you ran a business or not, because if you ran a business, you worked in some capacity the whole of last year. And if you didn't work at all and you just took a holiday, or you maybe had like one person or two persons on the books, it's like you didn't have a business in the first place.
Yeah, really interesting question though. I liked it. I think it's hard because we've learned a lot even this year already and late last year, from a practical standpoint, just in terms of execution stuff. So maybe something I would also tell us back then is just like, you're doing everything right, it's coming. It's like everything we were doing was on the right track. It just, we needed to just get the cogs to just connect. They're all sort of spinning by themselves, and then we found the method to bring them all together. So I think, knowing that back then would have allowed us to make better decisions, I think too, like take that fear away. Like all the processes that you have right now are right. You just need to get them to work together and you'll be fine. I think that would be one too.
Yep.
All right. Time frame from zero to making a decent income as a personal trainer. Obviously decent being a very subjective term.
$1,000 a week, $1,500 a week.
Yeah.
What are we talking?
I think personally, if you're doing this full time, anything under 75K, like if you're not a GSC registered business, like I think you're undershooting it. That's my personal opinion.
If you're doing it full time, definitely.
Yeah.
Like that's so much time to make.
Yeah, like the 100K business coaches and stuff, I feel like that's sort of like that's where you should be at. You don't need to buy someone's magic model. You just need to learn how to run a business. So if we go 0 to 75, look, we've had guys in our programs in the past go from 0 to 40, 42, 43, 45 sessions inside 12 weeks. Highly motivated, highly structured. They just showed up, really. So I think the answer to this question is, instead of a timeline, how much are you willing to show up?
Yeah. Well,
how many no's are you willing to get? How many times are you willing to get rejected? How many phone calls are you willing to make to get just ring out? How much of all of that are you willing to just take on the chin and pick up the phone again? If you're willing to do all of it, if you walked into a gym and you're like, I'm going to be a full-time personal trainer, I'm going to work 35 hours a week in this job. If you showed up and for 35 hours a week applied yourself to getting busy, 8 weeks. Like, even if like you don't have the structure and the skill set, I feel like you could almost still do that. Maybe take a little bit longer if you didn't have. I'm using that as a benchmark based on our guys that have gone through like sales training and all that sort of shit. So maybe double it if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, if you apply that time, that's where everyone's held back.
Yeah, it's a really hard thing to answer. I know everyone wants to know it because everyone every job that we have, like, we talk about salary and we talk about earning potential, but it's so this career is so predicated on you just getting up and just doing it on repeat, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're feeling down, even when you've gotten a few no's. It's like your desire to succeed has to supersede all of those things. It just has to mean a lot more to you than even the money itself. Like, it's like, make meaning to that. Yeah. Like, you got to make meaning to what that money is for you to get out of bed. Like, for me, it was never about the money. Like, I just loved being in the gym, and I just loved training, and I love training people. So I couldn't see myself doing anything else. So it was like, that's what was getting you up at 5 o'clock and getting to the gym by 5:45, being motivated to help people work out, and, coming back at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, working till 9, and doing that on repeat for years and years. And then, like, getting in front of people, getting rejected, reflecting, sometimes getting down the dumps, having a meltdown, having my wife talk me back into getting back into the gym. But all that stuff, like, if you're not in it 110%, you're just gonna, not succeed. It's just so predicated on having a good system, structure, persistency, and being able to be told no and not get offended, and not let it cloud what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I think back to like my membership consultant days. It's like our pass mark for a day was speak to 30 people, or make 5 appointments, or make 3 sales. So you had to do one of those every single day. And it's like, if a PT came in and worked 8 hours a day and just executed those things, it's like, you get busy so quick. You just have to be willing to show up. And again, like you said, like you got that structure in place. You understand like how to go from the phone to the consult, to the session, to the sale, to the sign up and stuff. And then hopefully you've got a bit of an idea of what you're doing as well, and keep people. But yeah, I think, look, we've seen enough people go to 100K turnover in 3 to 4 months to say that that's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Do most people do that? No.
No, definitely not.
That's probably, I don't know what, 10% of the people that we work with, and we obviously work with the people that are highly driven to learn and apply. So as a percentage of the industry, I'd say it's much lower than that. But
if you're starting from scratch, it'll take longer. If you've got a business right now that's kind of failing, but you're still bringing income in, that could get turned around very quickly. Yeah. Which we've seen as well. So you can get GST registered within 4 to 5 months. If you've got a failing business right now, and that's a failing business is, well, we've got kind of categories of what a failing business is, but just not making a profit or making very minimal profit, spending all your time in your business, those kind of things. So, and then, if you're new, obviously you've got a lot of skills that you need to learn as well. You're not going to convert at the rate that someone with a little bit more skills would do. So you can add on a little bit more time frame to that, but there's definitely outliers like anything.
Yeah,
but it can be done. You irrespective of all of that, you can make good money as a personal trainer in the fitness industry. So let that sink in to everyone, because I got made fun of when I was younger, and there was a group of friends, or not even friends, just people I knew, and they were all in construction and ran their own contracting businesses, and I was the the little fairy who never got his hands dirty, that was a PT in the gym that couldn't make any money in fitness, and here I am now, teaching other people how to be successful, and working a week that I want, with working towards the things that I like. So you guys can do the same thing too.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yeah, in a much shorter time frame than what we did it probably.
Yeah, we made a lot of mistakes, so leverage experience of other people that have made it like us.
Yeah, I think the success of personal training and the value has increased too. Like the rates that we were charging when we started compared to what people are charging now. I think income-wise, you can even do that a lot quicker.
Yeah, definitely. It's way more popular now. Everyone has a gym membership, crazy. So, and everyone's interested in fitness. Yeah. It's probably more popular outside of Victoria, I reckon, than inside Victoria. I think that, New South Wales, Queensland probably lead the line when it comes to fitness, but everywhere you are, it doesn't matter. So don't use that as an excuse. It's very popular for Australians even, because there's people that obviously don't live in Australia that listen to this podcast, to have a gym membership and be interested in how they look and feel.
Yeah. So we successfully didn't answer your question. Sorry.
Hopefully gave you a bit more of a framework to think about asking in the future.
Yeah, I think
everyone wants to know that though. Everyone wants to know the money thing. It's like, how long is it going to take me to make this? And it's can't be answered.
You know what? So what you could do, and here's a practical way of figuring this out. So say you like the 75K, how many clients is that? Say it $60. We'll do $50 a session. Yep. So divided by 52 is 1,400. Divided by $50 a session is, let's say, 30 sessions.
Yeah. Divide that by 1.5, which is how many clients?
Yeah. So 30 divided by 1.5. So on industry average, 1.5 sessions per client is how things roll out. So you're going to need 20 clients.
Yep.
If you're starting out, you're going to close at 40, 50%. So we'll go 50. So you're going to need to times that by 2.
40 presentations.
So you're going to need to do 40 presentations. You're going to close it anywhere, let's say around 30 to 40% on the phone. So divided by 0.4. So you're going to need to speak to 100 people. Then you're going to have to obviously think about retention rate of 50%. Each time the 12 weeks tick over, you're going to have 50% of people drop off when you first start. That'll improve over time. So can't bring that question back. How quickly in what time frame are you willing to speak to 100 people? And 20% answer. So divided by 0.2. How long, over what time frame are you willing to make 500 phone calls? That'll answer your question. Understanding that 400 of them are going to say no.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It rejected a lot.
Yeah, that's almost a better question. Instead of how long, over what time frame are you willing to dial 500 numbers, over what time frame are you willing for 400 people not to answer? And you still do it.
Yeah, that's it. And continue to do it. There's a lot of stuff in business where you don't get instant reward for the effort, in all facets of business, not just doing a free session for someone.
Yeah.
You have to have the ability to see the benefit to doing what you're doing now, to kind of see the ultimate prize down the track. If you can't do that and the rejection's too much, I don't know if you're in the right mental state to take the job on, take the role on. You can be, but it takes a little bit of mental toughness, to know what you're in for. Because we don't get sold what we're in for. It's the celebrity trainer, the fucking
athletes,
coach, sports coach, and the athletes. It's like, I know I've been in the industry for 10 years as a trainer, 11 years, I think. I don't know. I know like the people on my hand who've trained either a celebrity, not they're the celebrity trainer, or work in a sports club, and they work within a sports club in Australia, so they're probably getting, fuck all money, and could have made 10 times that if they worked for themselves and went into the public sector, but they were just working with Gen Pop and whatever. So that's not how things are.
So I think off the top of my head, you've worked with maybe one celebrity client. I've worked with maybe they were very, very popular 20 years before. So that, over 10 years. So
it's not something that happens regularly.
Yeah. All right. Last one. And I promise this is legit. I can put the screenshot up if you don't believe me. This is a real question that we got submitted. What education courses would we recommend personal trainers do?
Well. Whoever asked that question, I'll just send me your invoice and we'll fix it up after the episode.
Sponsoring the episode.
we could break this up into segments. So you can break this up into categories, because coaches need to have great technical skills. They need to have good coaching skills, and then they also need to have good business skills as well. So when it comes to coaching, it's really hard to tell you guys what's a good course, because guess what? You're all going to work with different people. I think anything where you get some form of grasp on movement, being able to assess movement, would be really good. I think anything, if you're into the hypertrophy space, I think that you then need to go a little bit more specific to that. Some form of functional anatomy course would be good. I know that, is it N1? They do some really good stuff. Keston Hansen, like he's the man when it comes to hypertrophy specific kind of training and whatnot. You gotta kind of know what you're gonna deliver, and then go to the people, like try to find the people. If that makes any sense.
Definitely. I think maybe specific courses that we've done that we found valuable that maybe people don't think about. We did our mindset coaching Cert 4, which is really, really valuable. We've got our allied health Cert 4, which is really valuable. We've also got our nutrition dietetics Cert 3, but any nutrition certificate that will give you insurance is really good. Like I've obviously heard really good things about like Mac Nutrition, but you're looking like big dollars for that. What's the Aussie one?
Sports Dietetics Australia, I think. Sports Nutrition Australia or something like that. So there are a couple of like weight management certifications that allow you to kind of work with healthy people and prescribe nutrition. So you just got to do your homework on that. There are people that have affiliations with insurance companies, because it's actually the insurance company which won't give you the scope to, so they won't cover you. So that's where you need to do your homework. But there are a couple of companies that have, teamed up with a insurance company and do the SNS via the ISSN. So it's the Sports Nutrition Specialist, I think it is, certification. So you've got to just kind of, whatever course you do, know that you can kind of get insured, because if you can't get insured, then that's the issue. It's, from a compliance perspective, you need to make sure that what you're giving is covered in case something happens, which, you're just assessing risk, and that's what business owners do. They want to try and mitigate it all. Some form of nutrition certification would be good.
So they would be the formal ones, I think, that we've done. Obviously, JC went to uni on top of your Cert 4. A lot of the questions we get is like, should I go do a nutrition degree? Should I go do strength and conditioning? All that kind of stuff. We probably can't answer that. Again, like Jay said, depends on what you want your business to look like long term. Do you need to go do a strength and conditioning program, formal course to work with people to get them stronger? No, like there's probably way more efficient models for that, where you just learn the shit you specifically want to know for the client you want to work with. Rather than like, if you want to get into powerlifting, for example, it's like, I don't think that there's definitely value there, but I don't think you need to go do that specifically to be qualified for it. Thomas Lilly's got a really good powerlifting one. Obviously Jordan Shallow, who we've had on a couple of times, has the Prescript, which is like really in-depth functional anatomy, raw around strength and performance versus like the N1, which is hypertrophy. There's plenty around.
Yeah. I think like if you want to get very good at in a specific area, like you probably should be following certain people, watching their stuff and just like seeing if it's valuable to you. Like you can kind of tell an authority in the space just by kind of watching them work, seeing how they operate, seeing the content they deliver and the results they get. That's usually how you determine all those kind of things. So because the reason why I don't want to say too many as well is like there's probably a heap of other people out there doing great things.
Just as good.
That we're just not aware of. So we don't want to start just pushing everyone to one space. So there's a lot of good people out there doing a lot of good things that we've come across, especially in the last couple of months. So just like do your homework. You have to do your homework. Don't just do something off the basis that someone else is doing something. It's like, how does this serve my business? How am I going to apply it? Does it sit in alignment with the long-term visions of my business and brand? Am I going to be able to utilize it? Is it for me or is it for my clients? You can do both. It's fine. We're nerds too. We do things for us as well. But you need to know how it's going to serve you before you just go and do it. Like, don't just go to something because everyone's done it. It's like, and then you just don't apply it, but you went. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you're kind of getting good return for that. So we believe that every course you do, or every dollar you spend on your business, you get at least 10 times that amount back. So big believers in education and upskilling.
Yeah, I think, like I said, those fundamental ones, like you need to know how to coach people. You need to know how the body works. And I think at this point, the way the industry is moving, investing in a nutrition qualification is very valuable. You can always refer it out, but I think it's being that one-stop shop is super valuable long-term in your business. Yeah. And then anything on top of that, go to the people that are really fucking good at it.
Yeah.
In terms of business coaching, education specific, so I'll give you criteria. Obviously, come and see us, but criteria that I would look for that I see in other business coaches that kind of irks me a little bit is make sure they've run a fucking business themselves, like for a long period of time. Not like I got to 100 grand and then I decided to start coaching people. Like that's not, you haven't been through enough shit. So who have they actually worked with that's been successful? Have they actually brought other people up under them to be really successful? So you're looking for case studies, you're looking for maybe people that they work with that have evolved themselves to have really successful standalone businesses. They're probably the main two. So they've got the track record for themselves. They've helped somebody else do it. You've seen evidence of that. Anything you would add, Jace?
Just message and content. They have to have a consistent message. They have to have good content. It all has to kind of make sense. It all has to be kind of relatable to the message itself, as in the content. So, so I think the biggest one's experience. It's unfortunate that there's a lot of people that have moved into the fitness industry who just are good at selling. So they think they got no idea about how the fitness industry runs, but they're like, I can sell you this mouse. So who cares? I'll just go into this industry and teach people how to do that. Like, I don't know. It's like, that doesn't sit well with me. I don't think that having no business experience related to fitness is going to work. There's a lot of things in the fitness industry that, kind of happen, separately to other industries. And, that means that doesn't mean I could go into another industry and go, hey, I'll teach you how to build this business, run your own mechanic shop, because I've got a small business. It doesn't work that way. And then there's a lot of people that have worked out that they can fake being successful, and because they didn't like being a personal trainer, they try and teach other people how to do the things that they just weren't committed to do for a long period of time.
Because they enjoyed the sales and the money.
Because they're just happy to tell you to just do the small segments of stuff that they found easy, but forget all the other stuff. And then usually you'll get caught out with that, because there's a lot of fires that we've put out over 10 years that we can kind of show you guys, not trying to put comparisons on things, but it's just like there's a tremendous amount of value that comes with experience. So you need to make sure that whoever you're working with has kind of been around for a bit and can kind of at least give you a logical framework on how to move you to where you want to go, and obviously can kind of give you the practical and their own personal experience together and the theoretical all together, because that's a really, really valuable thing to have. It's just like, here's what's happened, here's the data, here's the research, here's the trends, here's how to implement it, here's my experience of doing that. Like, that's a really good way of putting it.
I really like, this is what we do. Like, I want to hear that from my coach. It's like, if you're going to teach me how to run my business, I want to hear what you do. And that in turn then means my expectation of a business coach, they should still be running a training business, not just coaching. Because if you're the way I frame this, people are kind of like, oh yeah, but you could like go into this. Like, the way I look at it, if you're that good at business enough to teach someone else how to do it, then yours should still be running, with or without you involved in it. It should still be running. So if you just got to like, hey, I'm a 6-figure PT now, I'm going to teach people my method, and close your 6-figure business because it doesn't exist without you. It's like, well, okay, so that was your job, and you don't have a method that you can plug someone else to run that for you. What? I don't understand.
Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense when you look at it that way. It's just like, and then they'll sell you the story, the one that hits you in the feels about waking up early, about all the no-shows, and they've got the way to teach you guys how to not do it. It's like, no, they're just telling you that so that they don't have to live that life anymore. Because if they knew how to run their business, they would have set it up to do what you just said, run successfully, and still add on another part to their business, which is coaching. So just be very careful with that, guys. Like, it's hard, like, we're in that space as well, but that's the criteria that you guys want to work with.
Yeah, and everything that we just said is who we look for when we hire people to teach us.
Yes.
So it's not just us like pushing our product, but that's literally what we're looking for when we're going to work with someone as well.
Yeah, and like, we've had the horror stories too of like hiring business coaches and even coaches ourselves. Like, you guys probably heard it in the podcast previously. It's just like, had some really bad online coaching experiences, and I'll take part ownership of not doing my homework and not addressing it earlier. But then, we've hired business coaches and they promise you the world, and then you get this product and it's like, is this it? Like, this is all I'm getting for this really exorbitant amount of money? Like, and then you kind of we have to tell ourselves, it's like, oh, we'll make this back. Like, we did learn some things, like, so we've definitely experienced it in the past too. But now it's like, we know, look at this, look at this, look at that. We can formulate an opinion. The last choice that we made has been revolutionary for our business. So yeah, like, we have been in the same boat as you guys.
Yeah, look for models, not stature.
Yeah,
a good way to close that off, I think. Like,
perfect.
You're looking to basically buy the intellectual property that is someone's model, and have them teach you how to make that work within your business.
Yeah, and I think like that should be, when people like education courses that we recommend as a whole, look for that.
Yeah,
a model, a practical framework for application. The thing that frustrates Ben and myself, and had for a very, very long time, even when we were figuring out our businesses and our skills and stuff, is we went to all of these courses and stuff, and it was just information. So you just got lost in this sea of information, but there was very little knowledge coming out of that because we couldn't apply it. Like, you were like, oh, this is all cool, but what the fuck do I do on Monday? So we've always tried, and it's a constant process of becoming better at deliveries. What we, feedback from everyone and stuff is like, deliver a model, have practical things for people to do and implement, and be able to review it and see what's happening. So whenever you're doing a course and stuff, like sometimes, sure, like nutrition, like it is what it is. Like, someone wrote the book on it, good on them, like read the book.
Yeah.
But when it comes to there's other parts of things like, application of programming and stuff like that. It's like, cool, these are the cool physiological things about programming. This is how you write a program.
Yeah.
This is how you review a program. And this is how you would maybe make decisions in the future about this program if this, and this happen. Yep. So that's the kind of the idea that you want to kind of get when you're paying for. Because if you're not getting that stuff, then you may as well jump on YouTube and just listen to a bunch of free shit, because you're paying someone for someone's attention. That's all you're doing. You're not getting much out of it.
Yeah. A really cool example of that, and like you'd have to be like pretty OG listener to know the episode, but we walked out of a podcast once that we recorded that is live, and Jason and I sort of were just like, fuck, we need to like go and learn a lot of shit right now to get to this certain level that we were like, yeah, we need to know all of that. And I think it was like later in the week and then early the next week we sort of caught up and we're like, did any of that actually mean anything? I'm like, nah, not really. So did any of it actually come with an outcome that would positively affect how we run our business, how we train our clients, any of the outcomes that our clients get that we don't already do? It's like, no. It was like, okay, cool. So someone just used big words for a while and we were like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. And that was it. Like, yep. Okay. Moving on with life.
Yeah.
And I think that's the experience that a lot of people have with seminars and shit like that all the time.
Yeah. There just has to be actionable steps coming out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we gave you some information there.
Yeah. So yeah, currently, because you've opened the door for us, listener, thank you.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. Currently, we have available your first $1,000 a week program. So if you're running a business that's sub $1,000 right now, this is the course that we've used to mentor our trainers through to bring them up to that. So it's been developed over 5 years. You get direct access to that, starting at $50 a week for that one as well. So we understand people are starting out, don't have big cash. So our goal is to get you to that $1,000 point as quickly as possible. As per the question, how long does it take to make big money? We're week 4, so it'll be 8 weeks till the next launch of the Standout PT program, which is taking you from that failing business to be able to run a efficient, sustainable business that generates the income that you choose. Like we said earlier, we kind of benchmarked that at 75 plus, but obviously personal choice within that. But yeah, so 8 weeks until that launches. For all the information on everything that we have, all our free resources, etc., jump onto STCfitlearning.com. Everything's there. If you hit the resources button, you'll get all the free stuff. There's a business scorecard on there as well, so you can actually have a look. Instead of asking like, what courses should I do? Go take the scorecard, see where you're lacking, and go learn.
Yep.
Be it from us or from YouTube or podcasts or another course. And then, the work with us button will take you to the 1K PT, or if you want to jump onto the Standout PT pre-sale as well. Sweet.
Thank you for whoever answered that question. Whoever asked that question.
At STCfit_learning on the IGs, at Ben Scott STC for me. I think it's STCfit even. Jason Galea _STCfit for Jace as well.
And a bit of feedback on the Q&As, guys. Like if you guys want more of this, we're happy to do them. Maybe we'll make it a segment, every second one or something like that. But need to make sure that people are contributing with questions. So for those that put questions in, thank you very much. And then, if you guys want to keep the segment going, which we'd love to do anyway, just let us know how you feel about it.
Sweet. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll be back in a fortnight.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.